who is the God who says, I alone
Yahweh.
created all things?
That's Yahweh.
Yahweh. And is Yahweh tri-personal?
Tri-personal. 3 persons, yeah.
Is Jesus Yahweh?
Jesus, Yahweh. The
So
Spirit is
Jesus
Yahweh
is also tri-personal.
As we can see, he applies a false attribution of Leibniz's law, which states that if A and B are the same entity, then A and B are indiscernible, without distinction among the attribution of particulars. But because Yahweh is used to describe God in the universal sense, the Orthodox Muslim thinks that the word must be used identically in the particular sense. This is what's known as the illicit substitution of identicals, also known as the masked man fallacy in relation to Leibniz's law. Now the direct resolution and refutation to Libiano's argument follows as such. Premise 1. Yahweh is a trinity of 3 numerically distinct persons. Premise 2. The term Yahweh can refer to each person. Premise 3. The persons can only refer to Yahweh in predication of the essence they share. Conclusion 1. Therefore, when a person is referred to Yahweh, it cannot be in predication of the other 2 persons / hypostases, since they are formally distinct from one another. Conclusion 2. Each person's hypostases cannot be reduced to the divine nature lest we fall into heresy, unless we fall into tritheism by saying that if each person is identical to the divine nature and each person is distinct in reality, that there would be 3 distinct essences. Thus, it is proper to say that Yahweh is the universal conjunction of essence and hypostasis. Now on to the second premise of the second syllogism. Each hypostasis is a simultaneous, co-equal and eternal mode of God's existence. Premise 3. Each hypostasis is formally distinct from one another and formally distinct from the essence. Premise 4. God's hypostatic existence is inseparable from his divine nature. Therefore, Jesus can simultaneously be identified as Yahweh in predication of the property of the divine nature, which is ontologically inseparable, while still being distinct from the other persons identified as Yahweh in the same respect. Premise 5. The hypostasis of a divine person is distinct from the essence they possess on the grounds that the essence cannot be distinct from itself. Premise 6. The person of Christ cannot be identified as the other 2 persons under the universal predication of the term Yahweh, since each person is formally distinct from each other while in an inseparable union with the essence.
So Jesus is tri-personal.
He's one of the people. Come on, man.
So Jesus is a different Yahweh.
Let's take another look at a possible non sequitur argument. So according to the ignorant Orthodox Muslim, if Yahweh proceeds from Yahweh who spirates Yahweh, and Yahweh is a trinity, Christians must believe in 3 trinities that proceed from one another. This guy, in his fallacious argumentation, is an ignoramus. Let's play catch the fallacy. Premise 1, Yahweh is a trinity, Jesus is Yahweh. And premise 2, premise 3, Jesus is not the trinity. Conclusion 1, therefore Jesus is not Yahweh. According to Libiano, according to the Orthodox Muslim. Conclusion 2, if P2 and P3 can be substituted / said of each person, then Yahweh must be 3 ontologically separate gods. Oh my goodness, the Orthodox Muslim must have got us. Catch the fallacy. Oh, and in case you want to quote mine the church fathers out of context to try and diminish or refute my syllogisms, I have a church father who I can quote as a non-denominational, the blessed Saint Cyril, who will aid you in your understanding of the consubstantial nature of the triune Godhead. The Orthodox Muslim likes to argue that Jesus is an ontologically separate and lower Yahweh, but we can see from the writings of the blessed Saint Cyril that he is God from true God, begotten, not made. That means he is not created. Consubstantial with the Father, through whom all things were made. And this includes the Holy Spirit as well, as we can see here. So again, I would encourage you to read up on the more valid church fathers. And this is a refutation via church father to anything you might have to say in refutation to what I have presented today. But hold on, look what it says. This is a perfect example of Libiano. But the inventors of heresies who dig ditches of destruction for themselves and for others have fallen into such stupidity in their conceptions as to think and say that the Son is a recent and that he was brought into being from God the Father on the same level as other creatures. These wretched people are not ashamed to circumscribe within a time-bound beginning him who is before all ages and time. Man, we got him. Well, guys, until next time, and remember,
Jesus is Yahweh in the lesser sense, yeah.
Jesus is Yahweh.